Hi, Steve DeMott for Production Expert, and today I'm going to show you how I use strip silence in Pro Tools to extract room tone for an audio post project. Often in these projects, you either don't get enough room tone, or sometimes you don't get room tone at all, or the room tone, they got it later in the day and it's not quite the same as what's behind the dialogue. You often have to take your dialogue track and extract the room tone. So that's what I'm going to show you, the process that I use to do that. So here we are in Pro Tools. Here's a bit of dialogue. I'm going to select it with the grabber. Then I'm going to hold down Option to copy, but I'm also going to hold down Control so that I can't move it side to side. It stays time aligned. There we go. Now I've copied it up to my work track, which I have soloed, and it's also my field recorder guide track. So I'm going to right click on it and go to my field recorder. I want to pull. So this is the what's currently loaded is from the video editor, and when they export, it's typically only about 2 seconds of handles on either side of the clip. I want the production audio that's from the moment they started recording to the moment they hit stop on the recorder, and that's going to be right here. If you don't have Pro Tools Ultimate, but if you could still do this if you just have access to the production audio, which you should always be asking for anyway. Here we go. I'm going to open that up as far as it goes. They recorded from there to there. Now, all of this up here is going to be production team getting set. Somewhere in here, they're probably going to call action. So let's just take I'm going to open this nice and big so we can see what we're doing. Let's just take a hit fill. That was Option F to the selection fills the screen. Yep, so there's where we're going to call action. All right, so this is good. It looks like we have enough to pull some room tone. I'm going to hit Command U to bring up strip silence. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the slider and I'm going to move it that's probably about right. It's usually around -40, -39. So it's selecting most of the dialogue. And I'm going to hit extract. So this is going to get rid of anything that is over the threshold versus strip, which gets rid of everything under the threshold. There we go. So now we have all this, and I'm pretty sure all this stuff is going to be useless to me. This is all the production team's setting because they called action in here. So we're going to start where they called action. And we're going to make that a little bit bigger. And take a quick listen, preferably with headphones so you can really hear if there's anything going on. A little action. Be a bump here. Yep. All right, that's usable. That is very usable. I just want to bring it in so we don't hear the call to action. And I think what we're going to do, I'm going to select near that little bump. I'm going to hit E on the keyboard to bring up the focus mode. And I'm going to cut that right there. And I'm going to bring it just a frame or so on the other side of that. And looks like we have one here as well. Again, I'm going to cut right before it. Go a frame or so after. And then what we're going to do is we're going to listen. We're going to see what we have. So here's our first one. Yep, just room tone. Just room tone. So I'm going to right click, snap to previous. And then with it snapped to previous, I'm going to take a listen. I want to listen over the cut and make sure I don't hear a pop or something. That's pretty good. Totally usable. So now I'm going to do the same here. That sounds good. All right, good. There we go. It's just a little bit at the end. So let's take that, snap to previous. And again, I want to hear over the cut. Good. Okay, so I've gone through and I've edited everything out, and I took one last listen through the whole thing, and I'm happy with what I have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the first and the last clip, select them all right here, Shift Option 3 to consolidate, and now I have one clip of contiguous room tone that I can throw down into the background track and use to fill out the scene. Now, you might think it's helpful before doing the consolidate to do the crossfade, but the problem with that is the crossfade is going to look just beyond the clip edit bounds to start the crossfade, however, whether you're doing 10 milliseconds or whatever. And that's usually just enough to catch one of those clicks or pops that you've edited out. So it's better just to get a smooth transition across those cuts and then consolidate without the help of any crossfading. I know that seems odd, but it does work better that way. And there we go. And now I have a contiguous room tone that I could use for that scene. And if it's not quite enough, I can, checkerboard it and loop it. So that's why I'll even take like half a second of room tone from part of a clip just to extend it little by little so that if I do have to loop it, it's a longer loop and less noticeable. I hope that's helpful. Talk to you soon.